Hello, how's it going? Welcome back to another edition of the Average Guy's Guide to Life podcast. You know who I am. You know what this is. Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch, yeah, bitch, yeah, bitch, yeah, bitch. I love you, though. Welcome back. How's your quarantine going? You know, we're on the back half of this shit, people. And I don't think I don't think everyone's as worried as they were previously. I don't think a lot of people are going crazy buying up toilet paper and fucking meats and shit. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong, but I think we're coming out of this. We're coming out. You know, it's going to be something to tell your kids and your grandkids about how there was the disease that killed their elders, and you know, you live to tell the tale. It's not going to be as epic as the Black Plague or when it was raining frogs or some shit, or locusts. But it's going to be something to tell your kids about. I don't think it's quite on the scale of September 11th or anything like that. You know, I don't think so. But it is a terrorist attack, really, if you think about it. It's a thing. It's an unknown thing. It's invisible. And it wants to kill us all. Its primary objective is to kill humanity. Not just humanity, because I heard a tiger got it. I heard a dog got it. I might be wrong. I mean, it came from a bat. This organism, its primary objective is to destroy all life on Earth. Think about how fucked up that is. Anything with a heart, organs and shit, it just wants to kill it. It wants to kill it. Think about if that was your job. You know, if you were created on this planet and your primary objective was to kill all other things. Do you know how quickly you'd be like banished from society? Like how quickly we would bring back the guillotine for you. It would be off with your head, you know. But since this thing is invisible, you know, and we don't know what the fuck it is. It's air. Air is trying to kill us. Air projected out of another person's body in the form of a cough or a sneeze, or even a breathe on you, even a that could kill you. Anyway, we're making it through this stuff, folks. We're making it through it. Today I am sipping on a fine green tea. Disregard what the mug says. It says coffee, but this is tea. It's good for you. Speaking of things that want to kill you, I saw a movie that tried to kill me yesterday. Last night, I was watching movies that I put off because I watched Joker too many times in theaters. So I finally decided to watch two movies. I watched 1917 and I watched Uncut Gems. Now, 1917 is as stated, like as they projected it would be, and as the critics said it was. That movie was fucking excellent. It was very good. And it being one continuous shot, I was very skeptical about that being an actual thing. But I mean, shit. If it wasn't, they fooled the fuck out of me. Because it looked like one continuous shot. And it took you on a ride. You know, it's one of those movies where you can't look away. You literally can't look away from it. You want to see what's next. You want to see what's around the corner. And if this was really one continuous shot, for everyone out there that saw it, that cameraman or camera woman or camera people must have been tired as fuck. All that moving. All that moving around, like from one angle to another angle, and spin around and go through there. It was fucking tedious to look at and to think about. But you didn't want to look away. On the other hand, there was a movie where you wanted to look away, but you couldn't. You couldn't look away because it had you in sort of a trance, a dizzying trance that made me want to watch it, but it also made me want to blow my brains out. And this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I think that's fair to say. this is going to be a fairly unpopular opinion. Uncut Gems ain't that good. It's not that good. I could see why certain people would think it was an excellent movie. Um, the acting wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't. It wasn't like so bad it was good territory either. It was like right in the middle. Kevin Garnett did his thing. He was believable. Kevin Garnett was believable. Um, I'll say the main girl, whatever her name was, she was believable. The kids, the wife was believable. Even Adam Sandler. I guess all the characters were believable. Some of the antagonists, not really, but it was a believable cast, and the acting was just good enough. What I have a problem with is the fucking dialogue. It was a bunch of people yelling at each other for 2 hours. It was 2 hours of people screaming and yelling and confronting each other and cursing at each other. Like, there were so many fucks and shits in that movie. It was dizzying. And the fucking soundtrack of it made it even more so. Like, it was almost frustrating to watch. I wanted to set myself ablaze. Like, I wanted to set myself on fire. But I also wanted to pick up my television and fucking chuck it out the window. Because it was making me feel things I didn't want to feel. It was making me feel anxious, but not in a good way. It was making me like, please, end this. Please, just get it over with. Like, no one in that movie had a normal conversation. Like, with the tone of voice that I'm using now. Like, how I'm calmly speaking to you. No one talked like that. It was always up like this. Like, what the fuck? Go on. Move. What are you doing here? I'm not waiting for you. Go fuck yourself. Hello? Who's this? All right, I'll be there. Okay, come on. No, go fuck yourself. What do you mean that's only worth $20,000? It's worth $10,000. You know, what the fuck? Like, people were talking 27 miles an hour. Like, their mouths, I didn't even think a person, like, more than one person can hold a conversation that way. It was like Twista holding the conversation with Tech Nine. You know? It was like Eminem holding the conversation with Busta Rhymes. And they were both rapping, but not rapping, not rhyming. Like, it was no entertainment at all. It was just people just shouting shit. And I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this, but no, I didn't like it. It was nice to see Adam Sandler in something else, something new. He's been in so many straight to Netflix comedies, and I'm a fan of Adam Sandler. I like a lot of his stuff, especially, of course, the classics like Waterboy and fucking Little Nicky and Mr. Biggs, Big Daddy, all that shit, you know. And even some of his more serious roles too. So it was nice to see him go back to a serious role. But I mean, like I said, he was believable. I just wanted to punch him. I just wanted to punch him in the fucking face throughout the entirety of the movie. So there's that. So I mean, I would still see it. If I didn't see it, I would still advise others to see it, just so you can experience exactly what I'm talking about. So it'll make sense to you. Besides that, though, sorry about that. Besides that, I woke up and I was thinking about some of the greatest sketch shows of all time, and how, you know, Saturday Night Live has been going through their very public struggles with ratings, and no one likes this cast and all that shit. I have to admit, I wasn't always the biggest, you know, Saturday Night Live fan. I can't speak to it. I know a lot of famous names came from that platform. They made their names, you know, at first in stand up, and then on Saturday Night Live, you know, names like Adam Sandler, names like Eddie Murphy and Norm Macdonald, and the guy that hosted that Late Show now, and that other guy. It's a bunch of white guys with white names. I don't know them, but I know their face. I know if I saw them, I know their face. Wasn't Steve Martin on there too? I don't know, but it's a long list of who's who in comedy. But as far as Saturday Night Live goes, I always thought it was overrated. I never like some of their sketches were all right, but as an entire thing, like the series in its entirety, I never thought it was, you know, awesome. I never thought it was must watch. I have to set my fucking DVR for this shit. If people still use those things, I just thought it was okay. It's all right. Not one of the greatest sketch shows of all time, in my opinion. The greatest sketch comedy show of all time was a show that only lasted 3 seasons. And I believe the 3rd season was just a bunch of scenes that were not even supposed to make the cut. But they didn't have them. They didn't have the guy. So they had to release the fucking scenes anyway. And you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Chappelle Show. Of course. The greatest sketch comedy show of all time. And it was only on for 3 seasons. 3 seasons. Think about that. Now, I was a fan of Mad TV in the mid to late 90s. I would put that in the conversation as well. I know a lot of people like Key and Peele. I never saw an entire episode of Key and Peele. I have nothing against them, though. Kudos to, whatever the fuck, whichever one is Key and whichever one is Peele that's making those horror movies now. I think it's Key. Him. Kudos to that guy for, bringing back the horror genre. So I have nothing against him. It's just I didn't want to watch a watered down version of the Chappelle Show. I've seen the sketches. I've seen them. Like I said, I didn't watch the show in its entirety. But there were sketches that would pop up on YouTube here and there, and some of them looked funny, and some of them were genuinely funny. One that comes to mind is when they were doing the names of NFL players, and how ridiculous those names were. Now that was a genuinely funny scene, or skit, I should say. Very funny. But I just didn't. It was just a watered down version of the Chappelle Show to me, and it wasn't as controversial, and it wasn't as, I guess, black. Even though it was hosted by 2 black folks, it wasn't as black as the Chappelle Show was. It was black. It was black. It was ethnic. But compared to the Chappelle Show, not really. Chappelle had live acts. It was always throwing around the word nigga. Niggas! It's great. So, I want to know what you guys think. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? I don't think so. I don't think I am. Chappelle's Show is definitely still the greatest sketch comedy show of all time. I wish Saturday Night Live luck, though. If they went off the air, I wouldn't miss them. I wouldn't miss them. But I don't watch much television anyway. So, maybe it's a white thing. Maybe it is a white thing. I don't know. What's that guy's name? Kale? Or is it Keenan? The fat black guy. He's still on there. Yeah. And I know Michael Che. He's still on there. Michael Che is kind of funny. He's also kind of funny looking, so that helps. So, anyway, enough about that bullshit. I miss sports, man. I fucking miss sports so very much. I didn't think I would. Of course, there's always the classics you can watch. But there's so many things that was happening right when this pandemic hit that just pulled the rug under so many leagues. Right when things were starting to get interesting. Oh my God. Like the NBA playoffs were about to start. The fucking UFC was about to hold its biggest fight ever with Khabib versus Ferguson. The NFL draft was around the corner. The baseball season didn't even get a chance to start. The XFL didn't even get a chance to finish. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder's trilogy fight is pushed back to who knows when, And the ramifications of all those things is just piling up now. Like the WWE did a bunch of massive layoffs. I'm not a wrestling channel. I do watch, and you guys know this, I've said this a million times. I'm not a hardcore wrestling fan as I used to be, but I still follow the news. I just don't watch each episode. So I still consider myself a wrestling fan. So if you want the wrestling news, watch one of the wrestling channels. But it is a big day. It was a big day for WWE a couple of days back when it did a bunch of layoffs, and that shit was surprising. You know, especially for a company as rich as WWE, they got fucking money, man. They got money. I mean, partially because they don't pay their talent enough. You know, those mid-card talents, those lower mid-card people, they don't get paid, shit. But fucking 85-year-old Goldberg can show up and wrestle 99-year-old Undertaker in Saudi Arabia, and he can get paid $2 million. $2 million for Grandpa Goldberg. Go fucking figure. I mean, I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite because one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is Brock Lesnar, and I know he's getting paid a fucking shit ton of money. They're pulling the Brinks truck right down to Minnesota and dropping the shit off at his house. But in my opinion, Brock is worth it. Brock brings realism, and he brings, just a different thing to wrestling that makes it not wrestling. Whenever Brock wrestles, in my opinion, you're not watching sports entertainment. For a brief second, you're watching a sport. You're watching a sport. You're watching two people that are fighting. Of course they're not, but that's just the element that Brock brings. Goldberg, not so much. He still only does two moves: spear, jackhammer, and he can barely do the jackhammer anymore. I think the last two jackhammers he did, he damn near killed someone. Like, they should not let this 90-year-old man pick people up. He looks fantastic. He's in fantastic shape, but he's still 90. Speaking of being in good shape, how about Edge, man? The pandemic fucked up Edge's return, his WrestleMania return. He got his Royal Rumble pop, which is nice. Edge is one of my favorite guys of all time. To see him come back after a decade was very nice. I popped. Like, the Royal Rumble was one of the two shows I watch a year. I usually watch Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. It's pretty much it. I might watch SummerSlam depending on who's on the card. But I was watching Royal Rumble just for shits and giggles, and I didn't think much was going to happen, much was going to come from it. And lo and behold, fucking Edge came out, and I popped for him. I was a mark. I jumped up out of my chair. It's like, oh shit, it's the rated R superstar. And he came back. He's in very good shape. But this pandemic just robbed him of his WrestleMania moment. No crowd. There's no crowd, man. No crowd in an empty NXT training facility or wherever the fuck they are. It was sad. It was sad. And that match did go on a little too long. But yeah, I miss sports. I even miss WWE. I mean, they're still doing live shows, but I'm not going to watch that shit without fans. It's weird. It's fucking weird. I want to see the fucking Ferguson and Khabib fight. I don't want to see Ferguson and Gaethje. I like Gaethje, but Ferguson needs to be fighting Khabib. This is a dangerous fight to be fighting Justin Gaethje, man. It's dangerous. What if he gets knocked out, and then we'll never see that fucking fight? I don't want to think like that, But I do miss fights. I miss them. They happen every weekend. Now I don't have my fix of violence. XFL was my fix of football violence, and I don't even have that. I can't watch people concuss each other. Fucking NBA playoffs. I was very curious to see if the Lakers were going to win it this year. I was really curious. For my money, I would have taken Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee had the deeper roster, and they had the better chemistry. But, who knows? No one knows now. No one. Fucking Corona. And the NBA, y'all can keep that horse shit. And they got it on repeat, too. Y'all can keep that shit. The cameras suck. Your connection sucks. It's a bunch of... these ain't even impressive shots that y'all trying to make. Do some tricky shit. Y'all motherfuckers doing bank shot free throws. That ain't how you play horse. That's not how you play horse. You put a motherfucking paper bag on your head, tie one arm behind your back, and you cover the ball in marmalade or some shit and then shoot it. That's horse. You motherfucker. You make a motherfucker have to do something damn near impossible. But they can keep that shit. It's so whack. ESPN ain't even a channel right now. It ain't even a channel. I don't know what the fuck it is. They are praying that this Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls documentary saves their channel. You know, before Mickey Mouse come down from Disneyland and put the hurting on their ass. Mickey is not liking this shit. Mickey is not liking this pandemic shit at all. Mr. Mouse. Mr. Mouse owns everything now. It's like fucking Amazon. Anyway, I want to know if you guys miss sports as well. I certainly do. And I hope they come back. I hope the UFC is supposed to have a fight on... They were supposed to have a card, and a very stacked card from what I believe, on May 9th. I'm not going to talk about it until I know that it's a thing. Right now, it's not a thing. Right now, it's speculated to be a thing because Florida is supposedly open for business since WWE is allowed to fucking put on their fake fights there. Speaking of motherfuckers that's saying fake fights, Ronda Rousey, shut your ass up, bitch. Please, Ronda. Please. You're embarrassing yourself. Ariel Helwani had a conversation with DC about Ronda Rousey's comments, and I'm pretty sure her comments have been explored in depth by every other fucking YouTube channel. But if you want my take, here's my take on that shit. Everyone's saying that this is a work, the Ronda Rousey situation. I disagree. I think this is a shoot. And if you don't know what she said, she basically blamed the fans for her not being liked, or her character just kind of fizzling out. She just turned her back on the fans, basically. And her tweet was directed towards the fans and how the WWE fans were ungrateful, and, you know, her just her stance when it came to why she left the company. I apologize for that, people. I was in the middle of saying some shit and my fucking camera turned off. How about that? But anyway, my opinion on Ronda Rousey and what she was doing and what she said. Ronda Rousey turned her back on the fans that made her popular. This was not a fucking work. It was a shoot, and it was a piss poor shoot, and it brought her levels of heat that would probably never allow her back into the good graces of the fans. WWE might let her back because she's a name, but not the fans. The fans won't like you now. This is toxic heat that you have. So, I'm going to let you go. Bye.